FM.
So, Jacky, welcome on to the podcast.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah. So, if on YouTube, if you're watching or if you're listening, this is Jacky Woods. She's a boccia player, a boccia referee, and a boccia coach. Can't say now. So, thing what's going on. As I do with all these podcasts, tell me about your early years of your life, your upbringing. Did you do any sports growing up?
Yes, I did. I was lucky enough to walk until I was about 20, 25. And I played football, hockey, I swam, and I still swim now. But I still play hockey now and again because it's non-contact, but I can't do football or basketball or rugby because of the contact.
And you said that you were able to do it until you were in your early 20s. What happened then?
I've got Ehlers-Danlos, so my hips just started to dislocate a lot more, and my walking became unstable. I just kept falling.
Oh, okay. And then with that, what did you do before boccia? I mean, were you working? You know, what was your...
I worked until 2018 for P&O Ferries, and I lost my job, unfortunately. They sacked me because I couldn't work without the elevated desk.
Okay.
So I was let go.
So what sort of job was that? What job role did you have?
I was front-facing customer assistant, so everyone checking in would come through the check-in booth. If they had a problem, they would then come to the office I worked in. And I used to deal with the dangerous goods for the lorries going onto the ferry, and also drivers coming in just to drop a trailer and collect one. So it was a very stressful job. A lot of arguments and...
I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so was that going back to school days, if you remember that far back?
Thanks.
So was it all just what degrees did you get? Did you get any degrees?
No, I left halfway through my second year of A-levels. I got a job. I thought that was better than
Studying.
Yeah.
This is.
So, and I don't think the emphasis was so much on going to university then either.
No. So and then when you were confined to a wheelchair in your mid-20s, and then you got a job. When did sport come back into your life?
I've always had sport. I've always swum. Yeah. I learnt to swim 3.5 in hospital. I had that as a physio because there's not a lot you can get at 3-year-old, 3.5-year-old, whatever to do. So it was in the hydro pool. We had physio, and so I was taught to swim there, and I've swum all my life. So, and I actually volunteer now at a disability swimming group over in Maidstone. So I still swim.
Yeah. And so, presumably when you were at school and when you were working, sport took a bit of a seat.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah. I was working 4 12-hour shifts.
Yeah.
Nights or days, and then 4 off. So the maximum I did was swimming, because that was kind of relaxing as well as keeping my body fit.
Of course. And then 2017, you found boccia.
Yeah.
And been there ever since.
That's
so. How did you get involved with boccia then? How did you hear about it?
I attended a disability event at Medway Medway Park Sports Centre. They had a range of different sports, and we can't do contact sports because of my dislocation, so it had to be non-contact. And I found boccia. It was being offered by Prince Arthur Bowls Club. They'd had funding 2 or 3 years ago, and they were trying to expand their membership. So I joined there in the June.
As a player?
As a player, yeah, just as a player.
Yep.
That was in 2017, and they had no team when I joined. And a couple of months after, we all decided that we wanted to actually compete, not just play for fun.
Yeah.
So we started training, and we went to a competition in the November of that year. We lost, but we enjoyed it.
So going a bit deeper with that, who's we? I mean, who's at the club at that point?
That was Amy Lewington, Charles East, Cliff Armstrong, and John Beddoe, and myself. So there was just the five. There was the 5 of us.
Playing just for fun at that point.
Yeah, there were others playing for fun as well.
Yeah. And so, did you put the club together to go on to the?
We formed the team.
Yeah, and you were the main.
It was one of
club.
Yeah, it was one of Amy, myself, and Charles and Cliff. We wanted to do more, and John agreed as well. So it was kind of a joint decision.
Yeah.
We took back to the club.
And was it at that event you found Boccia England, or was it just Boccia and then you looked into Boccia England? Or?
No, it was just Boccia. We went to it was a friendly competition held up near Erith, run by the Bexley team.
Yes.
Boxley's near me. No, it was run by the Bexley team, and they put on a friendly event. We went to that, and as I say, I think there were 7 teams, and we came 7th.
Oh. And that was National League back then.
No, that was just normal. That was just a friendly.
Oh, friendly, sorry, yes.
And then in the June of 2018,
yes,
we went into the Kent League.
That's right.
And we won that. We actually won, and were invited to the Nationals up in Sheffield. And that was June or July of the same year. We didn't win, but we had a great time. Because of the complex disabilities of Charles, we went to Centre Parks in Nottingham, and where they had a lodge, or whatever they call them, that was suitable for all of us to stay in and would suit Charles's complex needs. So the club actually donated the money for us to stay there.
That's nice.
Yeah, and unfortunately John couldn't join us because he was going away on holiday. So it's just 4 of us that went up.
Yeah. And so let's quickly explain to the viewers. The Kent League is a county, so it's about 6 or 7 counties across England that Boccia England, Kent League, South League, North, and all that. And then the winners of those go on to the finals later on that year in the season to compete against other winners in other counties to then go on to the Nationals or Super League. So just make sure I understand what we're talking about. What's happening here? So you got involved with that, and then you, as a player, I mean, I was saying that I remember playing against you a couple of times as well when you were a player way back when. Yeah,
I stopped playing in 2020.
You did?
I did.
Yeah.
I still play in the team as a reserve. So we have our club now. The club I'm with now has 2 teams, and I'm a reserve for one of the teams. So if someone's unable to play, then I will step in.
As a sub?
As a sub.
As a super sub?
Yes.
And so you played, what classification were you when you?
I'm a BC5.
Yeah, BC5. And back then, it was considered to be a Paralympic team, wasn't it? And it was just going to be, and then
it was going to go through to the Paralympics.
it was.
Picked up, and BISFED said that Boccia England had got the wrong idea.
They did.
Because what happened was we went into BC5, we were invited to the Boccia England Cup,
Well,
which was for people that were going to be perhaps chosen for the England team.
yes.
So to be in that competition was brilliant.
Yeah,
And they were and in 2022 was the year that it was meant to be announced that it would go through as into the Paralympic sport as a grade. But apparently Boccia England misread what was put out. Yes, apparently.
Yeah, well, I remember actually back in 2020 when I was halfway through that time, and I found out that they weren't doing it. They got the wrong idea. It was a mistake.
Yeah, it was soul destroying.
Yes, it was for and then a load of BC2s that get reclassified as a 5, and
lost their chances as well. Yeah.
But hey ho, that's life.
Yeah, they now have a proper physio doing the classifications for 1 to 4.
They do, yes.
And they are trying to they have just recently brought it out to the lower grade, the 5, 6, 7, 8 that have a proper physio doing that as well now.
Okay, that's good then.
So that makes it a bit fairer.
Yeah. Going back to so you carried on playing at this point in 2008, 2017, 18, 19. I've been reviewing this 4 years ago. You went on about 3 course for your level 1.
That's right, yeah.
So obviously you're playing. What was your thoughts about coming halfway? Was it just to gain more information about the game, or
at the first nationals we went to in 2018, they needed timers because it was the national final one day and the BE finals the following day, and they needed timers for the BE, and we were up there for 4 days because we made it a bit of a fun stop, and we used to go away and go out on outings, so we all decided we'd go and be timers. And on the back of that, I decided that I wanted to do my referees course and wanted to take it further. So in 2019, I registered to become a referee.
And they're doing quite well at the moment, aren't you? You've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Kind of knows you're sort of 3 now.
That's right, yeah.
And you're currently doing your level 2.
I'm doing my level 2. Haven't been very successful because I registered for that just before COVID.
Okay.
So it's been sort of ongoing and a bit sporadic.
Yeah.
Because of that. So I had a couple of attempts at taking it, and I've not yet competent. So
I've got the same from my coach from there. Yeah, competent. Oh, tell me something that I don't know.
Yeah. But I did pass my level 1 coaching last year.
Yes, you did. You're coaching level 1. Again, very, very well with that.
Yeah.
So again, what was the decision behind being a coach? I mean, obviously this goes back to your early days at the club.
Yeah. Our coach left. There was friction in the club, and the coach left. So I offered to do a coaching course, and there was also a subsidy offered by Boccia England to do it, which was really nice, and they awarded me the grant to do the coaching course.
Yes.
So that was nice to be recognised there.
Yeah.
And it was a bit more than I thought it was, because we had to do 2 video call conferences with question and answers. We had to do online tests, and then we had to go and do a practical and demonstrate 15-minute segment to our other
I just remembered that I was actually there that day.
Yeah,
I just
you were in
remembered.
my group.
Yes. Yeah, I was not yet competent. I was like, oh, come on, Sandra.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I managed to pass it in the end. But when I did put, really wanted the idea of having foam.
I had a hopscotch.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, so yeah, just quick explain what your question was, what your session was.
I had to do, I think it was the placement shot or knock on, and
Yeah, you were the placement.
I was the placement shot.
Yes.
So it was to try and throw it at the highest number. So you selected the number and you threw it at the number. I also had another game running, not sure what it was.
Oh, you had loads of like bean bags and hula hoops and
I had hula hoops, did I? Yeah.
and then some sort of plastic floor thing. It was like not snakes and ladders, but something else was a target basically. Yeah. I was like looking at your session going, bloody hell, look at that.
I have mixed level players in my club. So I have a couple of BC8s, and it's getting their attention and enjoyment.
Yeah,
so if you
adapt it to their needs.
That's correct. If you go in and say, right, throw the jack, throw the first ball, they get bored.
Oh.
So it's just to entertain everyone. We have a 3-hour session at club, and an hour of it is fun things. But with a seriousness behind it, because they're actually practicing their shots. And then it's play a match, and I have a new referee in our club that's just qualified and one that's about to take the course in October. So during the sessions, rather than myself referee, I get one of the other two to practice their refereeing skills.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so, can you explain what the BC8s are to the viewers and listeners?
The BC8 is learning difficulties, so it can be anything, and they're just all put in that group, and their play can be absolutely phenomenal. But sometimes
if they're not bored.
Yeah. Sometimes they need a little bit more instruction than other players, but they are really good, and they're a really fun group to watch.
And going back a bit with clubs, you mentioned when you first joined it was what's the name again?
Prince Arthur Boccia Club.
That's right, yeah. And then after a while, did you change the name of it, or was it?
No,
you moved on some.
We left the club July last year.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
Again.
Yes.
Not because of problems at the club that we were having. So we left and we formed our own club. I have mentioned Charles East earlier, and he was a fantastic player. He loved the game so much, but we lost him. Pneumonia. November 2020, I think it was. So that was just really sad. And we approached his mum and his sister, and we named it after them. So we're now Charles, and we gave them a list of ideas to come off of the Charles, like Rebels and things like that, and they chose Angels. So we're now called Charles Angels Boccia Club. Yeah. In memory of our player.
That's fine.
And we started practicing in August, and we were officially to England in September when the enrolments opened. So. And
then you just had your first national league.
Yeah, we have.
And results.
Our team didn't do very well. I think we finished last.
Yes.
But we had a lot of sickness within my team. Our other team were doing really well until someone got balls confused, and they gave the wrong balls to the wrong player, and the head referee wasn't sure what to do, even though she was it was Jan, who's a head referee, and she's an international referee.
Yeah.
She also does the mentoring and the testing of referees.
Yeah, in the coaching process, yeah.
No, in the referee courses,
Oh, sorry,
not coaching. Yeah,
yeah.
she's a referee. Yeah. And she wasn't sure, so she decided that they would be withdrawn from play. But it's actually gone through BISFIT now, and it's now going to be a new rule that if this happens, then they can't change back their balls, but they can carry on playing with them, because they're actually at a disadvantage because they're playing with someone else's balls, not their own.
Yeah.
And they're different weights, different feels, so they play totally differently.
They did.
But because of that, they didn't win the league, unfortunately.
So, so you started off with 5 players that were club originally.
Yeah.
And you managed to get more players in, didn't you?
Yeah, we
Years.
had more players playing there. I actively encouraged it. I did events for Boccia England, which I still do. And this is, I've been to London Excel Disability Show last week, and we demonstrated together with our friend. There's 2 clubs that practice together, 80 Warriors and Charles Angels, and together we both went up to the Excel and did demonstrations to try and get Boccia out to the disability community that haven't heard of it.
Yeah.
On the back of that, we're going up to the Bow Bath in Watford, which is a cerebral palsy unit, and we're going to deliver Boccia to the OTs, and then at their open day as well. So really looking forward to that.
So how many players have we got at the moment?
We've got 8 regular players.
Yeah.
We have another group joining us tomorrow, and I think there's 7 or 8 of those. And I've just applied for visual impairment equipment from Boccia England, which was the board, 2 sets of balls, and I'm not sure. And it was a course for 2 people to do online to teach it. And we've got a group that may join us if we have the equipment. So a visually impaired group, yeah.
At certain times. And with the with the amount of players we've got, you've now got 2 or 3 teams.
2 teams we had.
2 teams.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see they'll both be in the National League.
Hopefully.
We'll
be in the Kent League, yeah.
Sorry.
We went into the Kent League this year, didn't do well, but
yeah.
Hopefully one of our teams, Raphael, will be able to practice a bit more.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah.
Fingers crossed. And so going back a little bit, with COVID, how did your players manage to get them? I mean, because obviously you're the first ever club, you did your coaching. So what happened during those times? Did you Zoom calls with them every week, or?
We weren't a team back then, so it was after COVID that we set up the team.
Okay.
No, we didn't really contact each other. We did in group because we're all friends, so we contacted each other on a friends basis. But most of us have got dogs that like balls. So unfortunately, none of us during COVID were able to practice. So
yeah, that's sort of club the balls and right next.
Yeah, we got practice at throwing balls.
Yes. And then they just get chewed or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my dog's good. Javita, she picks them up.
Yeah.
She doesn't do anything. She's a Labrador and she uses a soft grip.
Yeah.
So it's fine, but she likes being chased, so she thinks it's all good fun to have a ball in her mouth and run away. But all it comes back as is a little bit wet.
Yeah. It's wiping them for it again.
Yeah.
Mm.
But she does no damage, but it's just she's kept out of the room.
Yeah. And she comes to every event that you do. She just comes out of a bar and just runs to everyone.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
Yeah, she's known by everyone, and she comes because she helps me undress. So
Yeah. So when did you get her?
I got her the December before COVID, so I was quite fortunate. But I'm waiting to hopefully get her trained officially with Dog's Aid, which train your own pet to assist you.
Yeah.
I've trained her quite a lot. As I say, she gets me undressed. She takes coats off if I'm hot. But it's little things that I need.
Yeah.
Or big things like loading the washing machine, unloading it. But it's coming time. Yeah. And then when she's certified, she'll be not chasing balls and allowed into events.
Yeah. When you can get her attention. When you can get her attention, yes. And so, tell me about your success. So individually, when you're playing just as with six balls, what were your successes? I know you got gold in the fixtures, and then COVID came along and it didn't get to the finals.
I know, that was so disappointing. Yeah, I've been competing with one of my teammates, Layla Parsons, and she would always get gold. I would always get silver in the Heath. This is in the Heathcote. We would then go to the nationals, and she would always finish placed above me.
She would.
And then 2020, I know. And then in 2020, I managed to beat her, which surprised her. And that was the January in Sheffield.
Yeah.
And as I say, I got gold, which would have automatically qualified me for the finals
in May.
In May, which didn't happen because of COVID.
Yeah.
And then it was decided that BC5s wouldn't compete anymore in the BE.
Yeah, because of them.
Because of the mishap with the grading. And so I decided that was the time that I would go into coaching.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, you only just play when you need to for the league.
That's right, yeah.
Individual anymore.
No. I referee the individuals.
Yes. And so, where have you been around the UK for your refereeing? You've been everywhere. I keep seeing you around the place. Like, what are you doing here?
I've been to Lark, to the Challenge Cup, which is where all the international, the Boccia UK players all meet up, and it's formed about 4 or 5 years ago because they had no one to compete against. They could enter the BE, but their talent was so much high, their standard of play was so much higher than the BE that they didn't find it a challenge.
Yeah.
So they decided to run the Challenger Cup for the international athletes. So it's Ireland, Northern Ireland, England, Scotland and Wales all compete together. And it started off just in England, and then the following year it was expanded and it was offered in England and Scotland. And then Wales and Northern Ireland joined last year, which was real good fun. I've just come back from Swansea from doing the Challenger. They did a teams and pairs event for the first time.
Well, last week, but when this comes out, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Yeah, which was really good. That was fun watching.
Yeah.
I got to referee one of David Smith's games because he was Boccia UK. Yes.
Yes.
And it was a real learning curve because he had Rashad, who plays for England, and
Hago as well. I think
he had the Scottish lady, Keely.
Yeah. Haley.
I
can't pronounce it, but yeah.
Yeah. In the Boccia UK team, and every time there was a decision to be made, they would all go out on court and he would coach them through what decisions and ask them what decisions they thought. So it's lovely seeing him working as a coach, and a real learning curve as another coach, listening to his way of playing and coaching. So that was a lovely refereeing job.
Yeah. And so who do you base your refereeing on? Is there any particular person that okay, I'll do this again, and then do you take
Jan.
Oh, so it's just Jan's methods that you use. Oh, yeah.
I try to, yeah. And she's, although I'm doing my level 2, she's also correcting me for the level 3 and 4. So that rather than just learn level 2 stuff, I don't get into bad habits with level 3 and 4. So it's kind of well, you're not doing it, but this is what you should be doing.
Okay.
So I think it's a lovely way of learning, because when I do come to do my 3, then it's already in place.
And who do you get your coaching skill? Who's do you kind of try and copy and try and do their coaching?
I haven't really seen any coaches in operation.
Okay.
But I suppose Dave Smith was a real, seeing him coach was because he's such a good player. And he's
getting on a bit now as well.
Yeah, but the way he was getting the best out of both of his players, who are both new to their countries and new to Boccia UK, was absolutely brilliant to see him get the best out of both of them and know how they play. And
And so would you consider being an international referee at some point?
I would hope so. Or coach.
Okay.
I'm not worried.
One of the two.
Yes. Be lovely to go with that. I do coach the National Talent Development Programme, which is where they're getting players into the game, but play for clubs, but haven't necessarily had higher training or coaching. And they come up to these events and they have level 1 coaches with a couple of level 2s, and we try and get them practicing in the hope that they can then be chosen by the England Futures, which is the next step to get into the England team. So I coach that. It's been Leeds and Northampton so far.
Yeah.
And as I say, I do go all around the country.
You do. You get around.
They get around.
You get around. And so, would it be a fair assessment to say that you probably want to coach or referee at Paralympics or at a World Championships?
That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's ambition.
Yeah,
If you can't play, you go and coach or referee.
That's the standard.
Yeah.
Yeah. And going on the future, I mean, we just explained about, what you want to do as a referee or as a coach, but your club that you're with now, the one that you're with now, what's the future for that? Is it try and maybe get promoted next season? What's the plans?
We're hoping that, as I say, one of our teams had a lot of illness, so we're hoping that will be behind us, and that we'll be able to actually achieve better results.
Yeah. And is it a serious for the Kent League? Are your players just doing it for fun or?
No, they all enter it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We had problems with the second round because there was a scare that one team, half their team had COVID and the other half had measles.
Oh, lovely.
And we didn't, and they'd all practiced the Friday before they got the results. So they'd all been in contact with each other. So one of our players in the team that was performing really well, he dropped out because he's very high needs. So his immune system is very poor.
It's vulnerable.
Yeah, he's very vulnerable. So he decided not to turn up. So he didn't actually attend the event, which was a shame. So we ended up with just 2 in the team.
Yeah.
that caused interest in the actual referees, because none of them were aware that if there's only 2 in a team, you can still have 6 balls.
You can't. It says in the rules,
That's right.
just let the people know beforehand. And
But the referee wasn't aware of it, and 2 of them had to check with the head referee. So quite a reputable reputation that team got.
and then yeah, I mean, so what kind of players do you have in your 2 teams? Is there more throwers than there are runners?
We have BC1, who's on the National Talent Development Programme.
Okay.
We have a BC3 who's on the same talent programme. We have 4 BC6s and myself a BC5. No, sorry, and another BC6 in the mix. So mainly 6s.
Yeah.
But we will be getting, hopefully, the group that are joining us who want to join competitively. At the moment, they're coming just for fun, but I'm hoping that they'll get competitive and join and supply us with some BC8s. And with any luck, we'll get our visual impaired group,
BC7s.
the BC7s,
Yeah.
and they will be able to compete. Actually, because currently there are no real BC7s
No.
in competitions, and it's a shame.
It's a shame because there was, I mean, in the past there's been a few of them, but in recent times there's only been like 1 or 2 of them.
Yeah.
And they just play against each other twice, and then that's it.
Yeah.
That's like half a day.
Well, they get last time they were put with the BC8s.
Yes, sometimes they mix them together.
The time before it was they were put in the BC6s group.
Yeah.
But at the moment we have a girl that's got visual impairment, but it won't help being a BC7 because she wouldn't be able to. She can see enough of the court and the ball to be able to play as a 6, but having a blindfold as a 7, she couldn't do because she's also paralysed down one side. So it's not helpful for her.
No. I can let that bit out, don't I? And so the club decision doesn't buy. I mean, you've got a couple of players on the on the team hoping to go up to the England futures now. So the future looking bright.
Yes, hopefully, yes.
Yeah. And then, I mean, is that the team that's hoping to join you? Are they already a team somewhere else? Or is it just lots of people?
No, we've got 80 warriors that we practice together with. We share space, so they use our club courts to practice with, and we practice together, which is quite good when you go out into competition.
Because we play against them, don't you?
Yeah, because
so you can sort of see what tactics they use.
Well, there is that, but it also gives my players the challenge of playing a different team all the time, and they mix in with our players. So we have a mixed group.
Yeah.
So yeah, we work well. We work very closely together, and he actually coaches with my club, and I coach at his club. So
that's nice.
And Boccia England have accreditations for clubs.
They do.
And we're hoping to go in at gold.
So what have we got at the moment?
You have to have a level 2 coach, a level 1 coach.
Yes, that's right.
I'm hoping the results come out at the end of September. We have someone visiting our club in September to see how I coach, and then the results will come out at the end of September if I've passed or failed it. No, sorry, not failed. We don't ever fail in boccia.
No, it's competent or not yet competent.
Correct.
Which is the story of my life.
So it's not competent or competent. So hopefully I will be competent. I've done the practical in Largs, so I passed that, the practical side of it. And again, it was all about bringing fun to the practicing so that people didn't get bored with just practicing a shot.
Yeah.
So
Very much so.
yeah, because that can get boring, spending 20 minutes doing one shot.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're trying to get it in a hoop for placement,
It's exciting.
it adds excitement to it. But yeah, when the results come out, you need to, so level 1 coach, level 2, you need to be promoting your players to go into official roles, whether it's down the coaching route or down the refereeing route. We've already got one that's gone in and qualified.
Yippee!
And we've got a second one going in October. And our BC3 player wants to do it, but we're waiting for him to read the rules.
Oh, okay.
He's so busy with his job that he doesn't have time to go through the rule book.
Okay. It's a massive rule book as well.
Yes.
So you need dedicated time.
Yeah,
Dedicated
you
time.
do.
Yes. And I was just interested in question because we've got ones from like 2 years ago where we haven't updated it since the club, but not happy with that. So it's fine. And do you plan to stop playing at some point, or would you just want to just be a sub?
I'll just be a sub.
Yeah.
Unless there's too many, unless we've got enough players.
And how many players will be enough?
Or enough to form a team, so everyone that wants to compete can compete.
Yeah, because you're allowed hot wave in one team because it's got 3 on call and then they've got 2 subs, and then that's the limit.
I think going forward, there's no subs allowed.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
You're not allowed subs, but I think you can have a sub to step in if the player isn't present for the game, but you can't.
Okay.
Not sure if I'm not sure if they're bringing it in at grassroots yet, but certainly internationally it's a team and that's it, no substitutes.
Yeah, that's.
And normally grassroots follows the national trend.
Yeah. And then moving on a little bit now, away from clubs and all that. Talking about you again now. We actually bumped into each other a few weeks ago at Surround.
Yeah, the
National Junior Games with Willpower.
Yeah.
And of course, if people are watching on YouTube, they can see a Willpower logo on your top.
Yeah.
So,
I've got the Willpower badge, yeah.
So you started a couple of years ago, you mentioned.
Yeah, I started last year and I did 2 or 3 events for them. And it's going and taking my sport, boccia, to the juniors and giving them a taste of it. They play in schools, but it gives them a bit more practice. And on the back of that, we've signposted them to clubs. And I signposted one to Pete because he lived in Southampton. So only normal that it goes to Pete's club. I've got someone that lives near Farnham, goes to school near Farnham. So signposted them to the Farnham club, but they live in Essex. So I've signposted them to Dan Bentley's club, which play at, I can't remember, but they play in Essex. So that's where I've signposted.
Yeah.
Newport, Essex, not Newport, Wales.
Yeah, and so how did you get involved with them? How did you?
There was an invite sent out. Did anyone have the time to spare to go and do it? It's you arrive there. It's a 3-4 day event, so it's quite a chunk of time you're giving up. So yeah, I was invited. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's so lovely to see children actually feeling like they're normal. And one child at this event this year said to his mum, "I'm normal, you're not." And that was lovely, because they all feel normal. Every child, whatever their disability, can have a go at everything. And they do a massive array of sports there.
Yeah, and you seem very passionate about that sort of thing, don't you?
I am, yeah.
It gets to you.
Yeah, I like to see everyone included.
Yeah. And with that, with the so you tend to volunteer quite a lot.
Yeah.
So what was it about volunteering that made you want to do a sort of career in volunteering?
It's giving back. I can't play. I can't achieve anything playing, so I can, with my time coaching, and I can encourage people to join the sport and signpost them to where they need to go to join. I get involved in the spinal unit. I do the spinal games. I'm down in Southampton today to also run an hour's Boccia session for spinal injury group, and hopefully I think they're living in the south area somewhere, so it will be signposting them to the local clubs as well. So if they enjoy the sport, we can get more people in and playing.
Yeah. And sorry, when we say today, we actually mean last Tuesday. Not obviously when this comes out, not today, not Saturday.
Tuesday the 18th of July.
Yeah.
So for me, I haven't done it yet, but when you read it, I will have done it. Again, that's a willpower event. So I do quite a lot for willpower. Hopefully we're doing their spinal unit, the spinal games, Stoke Mandeville, and then the school games have another event that runs. So hopefully I'll be doing that.
And do you hope to be volunteering in other sports in the future, or just sticking to boccia?
At the moment, boccia, because it takes up an awful lot of my time.
It does.
I run a club that runs on a Wednesday and a 3-hour session on Wednesday, 3-hour session Friday morning, and a 3-hour session Friday night. So quite a lot of time is taken up with it, and then it's away Friday night for the reffing.
And with the club, you tend to do a lot behind the scenes. So are you the treasurer? Are you the social media person?
No, I'm the chairperson. When we started the club, everyone is on the committee.
Yes.
There was 8 of us that started the club, so everyone was on the committee. We're about to have an annual general meeting in August, and that will be a barbecue event. So it'll be lovely. And we'll decide on positions, but we've got a treasurer and 2 other people that monitor the bank account. We've got a person that likes doing graphics, so they do all our artwork. And as I say, I run the coaching side of it and make sure we've got all the documents in place, like the code of conduct and insurance and things like that. And the court bookings is down to me. Payment is down to the treasurer.
Yeah. And have you got a sponsor for the club?
We've just been sponsored by National Lottery. Mm-hmm. So we've got a grant from them, their community grant, and we're just applying for another. We've applied for the visual impairment from Boccia England. Yeah,
for when you have those people come in.
And so that we can invite the people in, have the equipment to invite them in. And we do employ someone to do our grants, because they are so involved. They need so much information.
People and all that. Yeah.
Where our club's going, everything like that. Yeah. And it's quite in detail. And so we employ someone to do that on our behalf. They get 10% of our grant money, but it still works out worthwhile.
Yeah, it does.
So at least we have a grant.
Yeah. And that's everything. So thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you, Pete, for having me here.
Yeah.
Voice. Let's go. Voice FM.